This is Meagan Michael here at BreakingFreeFromToxicPeople.com. This is the first video log that I'm doing, and I'm really glad that you're here to share it with me. I figured we will talk about an easy topic today. Narcissistic mothers. I was never one to take the easy way. So let's just dive right in and talk about why no one wants to talk about it. That's the really interesting part to me right now. When I mention narcissistic mothers on my Facebook page or in public, well, not just announcing it in the middle of the mall, but, people freeze like a deer in headlights. They don't know. I think they don't know how to react and how to respond. And this is what I'm thinking. I think there are some of us who are really becoming more and more self-aware every day and are no longer afraid to take a really hard look at what our lives have been and analyze why we are the way we are and what got us this way without any anger. I'm not angry at my mother. My mother's 85 years old. She's in assisted living. She's very, very happy where she is. And the only thing she would like on this earth is more money. She wants to be rich. Hey, I want her to have everything she needs. She wants money. I'll be glad to help her out with that. But in the meantime, it's not easy to talk about it. It's not easy to realize that my mother never loved me. Now, this isn't just my mother. This might be yours too. It's surely not isolated to one person because I found an awful lot of information on it. Not enough, but I'm hoping that I can share my story and my insights, and that people like I was, like you might be, are feel they don't feel so alone. You're not alone. If you have a narcissistic mother and you've been trying to figure out why your whole life someone's been telling you that you're crazy and you feel less than, and you're always in the shadow of this woman, even when you put yourself there. Like, for example, my mother's a professional songwriter. I did everything I could not to actually write a song that was any good. My whole life, I didn't think of it that way. But when I wrote a song and I published it, and I got into ASCAP in 2007, I thought my narcissistic mother would be really proud of me. She wasn't, because she's in ASCAP. She doesn't make a penny out of that. And I don't make any money off my song either, but, I kind of maybe just like her. I thought she'd be excited, and proud of her daughter because I always wanted to be like my dad, not my mom. Go figure. Go figure. I wonder why. Because when I actually did something that was similar to her, I was competition for her. Not to me, I wasn't, but in her eyes. She couldn't tolerate the thought that I was doing something and I was good at it and I was successful at it. It was an immediate threat to her. So she pretty much pretended like it never happened. Yeah. And every chance she could, she just did and would still if I gave her the chance. Make me feel like I can't write anything because only she can. But I know now that's so not true. Another thing that I realize about is I feel like a lot of people that I speak to, I don't have any children, and we'll talk about that some other time, but a lot of my friends do, and I think that they feel like it's a critical look at maybe at themselves because they're parents, and so if their mother was narcissistic, and every child of a narcissistic mother suffers from emotional dysregulation, emotional neglect, PTSD. Well, and then of course we come out either empathic or borderline. No matter how you look at it, if you're the child of a narcissistic mother, you're damaged, and you need to be fixed, or you understand what I'm saying. So I think it would be hard to take a look at yourself and think, oh, I have children, and I may not be the best mother I could be. And wait a minute, I'm how old now, and my kids are adults, and I can totally understand, But you know what, though? You did your best. Do you know what else? My mother did her best with what she had to work with. She did her best. And my mother's mother, another narcissist, my mother used to constantly talk about how bad she had it and how good I have it. But the reality is, it's just a cycle, and it just continues and continues until somebody says, "Stop! No more, no more, no more." And I said, "Stop, no more," by not having children. I made a conscious decision um, because I didn't want anyone to have to grow up feeling the way I did. You know, I also think that some people are their mother is either might have passed away, so they don't want to take a critical look at someone who supposedly kind of can't defend themselves, and or it's not, well, that could be it, or just simply that they're gone, and people don't want to reevaluate what they believe in their mind to be their truth. you know if I listen, my father passed away in 1989 from malpractice. He was gone at 60 years old. I was 23. I adored my dad. I adored my father, whom I hardly really knew because he was always working. But the reality is that I'm starting to have to reevaluate the relationship and the part that he played in our family. And the family dynamic. He was important. Just because my mother may have worn the pants, so to speak, doesn't mean that my dad didn't play a significant role. And my mother could not have treated myself and my brother the way that she did if my father wasn't, at the very least, going along with it. My point is that I get it. I get it. It's really hard, especially when you love someone that much and you respect them. But it's really hard to look at and think, wait a minute, is it possible that this person didn't have my best interest at heart all the time or any of the time? I'll tell you something that's really interesting that I realize about narcissistic mothers is that they really have done their best. And it's not like they chose not to love us. Because, okay, think about this. The reality is they cannot love. They're incapable of love. They're incapable of remorse, incapable of empathy. Um, if you know anything at all about narcissists and toxic people, you know that they're not capable of making decisions like, I'm going to give birth to a child. Should I love this child or shouldn't I? Or let's see, I'm going to have two children now. Let's see, one's going to be good and one's going to be bad, and I'm going to make one feel horrible their whole lives. It's not that simple. It's not that simple. They can't make a choice. So it's not their fault. I'm not saying that because if you're watching this, you actually have a choice. But people like my mother, she would never, because she thinks she's perfect and flawless and she's the best mother in the world, and she'll tell everybody she's the best mother in the world, especially me. And but that's the thing. Anyone who wants to heal, the way that I am processing things today and healing in my own life, in my world, I see it. There's only one way to do it, and that's being self-aware, and that's knowledge, and God. Now, when I speak of God, it's God as I understand Him. And the way I understand Him is in many different ways, honestly. I believe in, God above, God Almighty. I also believe in higher self, God within. Um, I So my point, it doesn't matter what I believe. What I'm trying to express to you is that whenever I talk about God, and I do all the time, it's always going to be how I understand Him. But I understand that everyone sees the same higher source, positive source energy. We all see him or her differently. And that's what I'm referring to. So anyway, I'm going to close this too long video. It's 10 minutes, by golly. And God bless you all. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you later. Hey.